Wait, no, I'm just kidding.
Welcome to Time Sync, the weekly podcast to let you know what's worth sinking your time into. I'm your host, Sauce, a.k.a. Enrique Shockwave. Hummer.
That's new.
Hummer is off this week. I'm also joined by Tito.
Hey, I got a promotion. I'm the second person introduced.
Heyo. And joining us for the first time, our new host, Mr. Brad.
Hey there. I also got a promotion. I exist.
Yeah, nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
We got a great inaugural episode for Brad this week. We're going to talk about Palm Springs, Search Party, The Old Guard, and we're going to talk about some of the best subreddits that are worth sinking your time into. So stick around and check out the show. But before we get into everything, I want to introduce everybody to our new host, Brad. Brad, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
What's up? Name is Brad. I got my brother's truck for 2 more weeks.
Ooh.
No, I do own my own car. I'm an adult in that way.
That was a Parks and Recs reference, by the way.
Are you just gonna shout out all my references so I don't get to have just let them be net? There's all I do is reference things, so I'm sure your audience will figure that out quickly.
That was a Yu-Gi-Oh reference.
That was a life reference.
Stop talking about Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, all right. So let me get on my Yu Yu Hakusho theory. You're real quick though. I don't have one. So anyway, I mean, I'm pretty simple. You know, the reason you guys brought me in, we're into the same things: video games, movies, TV shows. You know, modern entertainment of any sorts. We do have some differences. I don't have wife and kids, so all of my time is sunk into my personal activities instead of other people's personal activities.
Nice.
So anytime I get onto a topic, it's not about sinking your time anymore. It's about all the time you have to sink into something. Whoa. So I think that'll be an exciting point of view for us, guys. What do you think about that?
This is wrinkling my brain.
Yeah, I'm mostly just here to quote Donald Glover from Community as much as possible. I don't know. In my day life, I'm a bartender, so I might be drinking. I don't really know what that entails as far as this goes, but yeah, I think I'll probably cover a new topic for us and get into some sports occasionally.
What are those?
I'm a huge sports fan, but I also think that if you define your personality by your sports fandom, you need more of a personality. Like if you're someone that says, hey, my name's Brad, I really enjoy reading, Buckeye fan, I think that there's probably, you need to figure out a little bit more about yourself.
If you have an Ohio State tattoo, get out of here.
So yeah, I'm really excited to start recording with you guys and to tell people my opinion, because I value my opinion very highly.
I value your opinion too.
You know what?
Not as highly.
Please don't feed into my ego like that. I have a problem.
Perfect. You'll fit right in.
We've been missing, like a sensual baritone bass voice on this podcast. It's been a lot of higher pitches.
I do provide that. I can even do a little countertenor if necessary, but I don't like to brag about how good I
am. Me neither. So we'll see.
Great. So welcome to the show, Brad.
Thanks.
So moving on. Normally I'd pass it off to Hummer, but Hummer is MIA. I think he
family time, man. It's important. This crazy time, he's having some family time. We got to respect that.
That's
yeah.
Right.
So going forward here, you know, we're always constantly tooling around with our formula, and you know, some of our hosts have important things that they're doing and might have to step out 1 week, pop back in the next week. So you're probably not going to see a whole lot of consistency with the 4 of us being on together, but we're going to do our best. And yeah, just jump right in. So Tito, what did you check out this week? What's hot? What's worth sinking your time into?
So We'll talk about Palm Springs because I think we both saw that. But something that I've been watching this past week is called Search Party. It's on HBO. It's been out for a few seasons, and I've been meaning to check it out because it has a lot of smaller comedic actors that I find funny, and I've heard the show itself is really funny. Basically, the premise is it stars maybe from Alia Shawkat, maybe from Arrested Development. She's a grown up now. Um, time passes, and basically she's like a late 20s millennial, doesn't have a lot going on. She has like her three best buds, and she's trying to find some meaning in life. A friend of hers from college goes missing and is presumed dead, and she makes it her quest for the season to like find what happened to her friend. Very early on, I think in the pilot episode, slight spoiler for the pilot, she thinks she sees this person like in person, and so then is convinced that she's alive. And the whole first season is about how she convinces her friends, and then they're all looking for this person, trying to find them when everyone else thinks she's dead. It takes place in New York. It's funny. It's really funny. And there's basically every person in there is maybe like a smaller comedian who you might have seen their tweets, or you might have seen like a brief stand-up thing that they've done. But they're all pretty funny. And the show itself is interesting in that like it's not like Arrested Development where the jokes are really like built into the plot. There's this kind of interesting overarching semi-serious plot of them actually looking for this person who's disappeared, and then the jokes are kind of like separate, their interactions with each other kind of separate from the main plot line. I would highly recommend. It's weird. It's kind of weird, but it's really funny. Like the acting is good, and the jokes are funny. Every individual person like they have their moment to shine. It's really solid. We've already just powered through into season 2 this week. It's 3 10-season episodes. I think they're going through the 3rd season right now.
Is it like a comedy or is it like a dark comedy?
It's a dark comedy for sure. Because the whole underlying premise is like she's basically unemployed, the main character, and she has
a millennial,
bad relationships, and she's kind of like trying to find meaning in her life in her late 20s, and she puts all of her investment into finding this person who disappeared, and she's like, oh, was there meaning in this person's life? I don't know. That makes it sound way heavier than it is. It's a comedy. It's a dark comedy. It's very funny, has its serious moments, but it's kind of captivating. We started watching it I think Thursday and finished the first season this morning, Sunday. So like
good binge content then.
Yeah, you really power through it. It's I think 22 minute, like it's the shorter format. So you go through it quickly. It's interesting.
I've never even heard about it.
Yeah, it pops up randomly. It doesn't have a huge amount of hype, but it's good. I would honestly give it a 4 out of 5. I feel like Sauce might not be your cup of tea. It is a little more diverse than, I forget what show it was that I saw where you were like,
Sauce hates diversity.
Yeah, you know me so well.
I'm trying to think. There's a show that I recommended where you're like, I don't need to watch like well-to-do white people complaining about their problems.
I do feel like I remember hearing about this show back when like Arrested Development was first starting to come back as a Netflix original, and like that's why you saw her things being out there because she was starting to come back too. Yeah. So I personally have not watched it, but I do remember hearing about this show.
Yeah, I would give it like a 4 out of 5. I would say bump it up on your list. I think if you watch the first 2 or 3 episodes, it's not a huge time commitment, and you'll know if you like it.
Would you compare it to anything else that you think you've seen?
That's a good question. It's pretty
because the premise sounds like a darker Hangover.
It's it's not like The Hangover. I think it's relatively unique. I don't think there's a lot of stuff like it. The cast it's like a very millennial written comedy. I don't know if that appeals to non-millennials, but
I hate millennials. Am I a millennial?
Yes,
You're technically a millennial, pretty sure.
It's very millennial of me to hate myself.
Based on you.
It is, 100%.
Yeah, that's very on
brand. Self-loathing generation.
Yeah.
So how's the cast though? Besides Aaliyah Shawkat?
The cast is good. I would say it grows on you. By the end of the first season, I watched it with my wife, and we were both saying like, "This is great." There are two main characters, which are like the straight characters. It's Elia Shawkat and then her boyfriend in the show, who I don't remember what the actor's name is. But then John Early is like he's like the gay best friend in the group, which is kind of oversimplification of his character, but he's another one of the main characters, and he's hilarious. And then in Palm Springs, which we're going to talk about in a second, the girl who plays Andy Samberg's girlfriend, who he goes to the wedding with, she is like the fourth main character. She's an up and coming actress, and she's the other kind of best friend in the show. And they're amazing. Their characters are like really good and hilarious from the beginning, because they're kind of the color commentary characters. And then, but even Elia Shawkat and the boyfriend, who are kind of the straight leads, they develop over the course of the season, and they're really interesting. Yeah, the cast is great.
I was just looking over the cast list, and the first name I recognized was Ron Livingston.
Oh yeah, he's in it. He makes a comeback.
Yeah, I saw
Christine
that,
Taylor too. Cool. It doesn't sound like they're the top characters that you were talking about, but it's always nice to see people you recognize as like tertiary characters and stuff. Usually get a lot of good performances.
Yeah, that's a good point. There are tons of cameos. So there are like some, like Rosie Perez is in it. There's some relatively big names who make short appearances, and then a lot of the, like basically all of the side characters who come in are like minor Twitter. Like everyone is like some kind of minor. I guess everyone is someone, to get philosophical with you, but they're all like minor comedians.
There are alternate timelines.
What?
I saw that Michael Showalter is a creator, so I definitely appreciate his brand of comedy.
I already am forgetting all the people. Yeah, Michael Showalter's in it. He's got a big role, not a giant role, but he's in it in a couple of episodes. Recurring character. Yeah.
All right, 4 out of 5. So do you want to tell me what you thought about Palm Springs before I tell you what I thought about Palm Springs?
Yeah, I can go first with Palm Springs. Sure. I loved it. I really like, I guess this is a genre of movie now, but infinite time loop movies. Do you want me to give the premise?
Yeah, sure.
So basically it's a time loop movie. It's one of those where the person is reliving the day over and over, and
a Groundhog Day.
I think the slight twist in this movie is that there are two people trapped in the time loop. So it's Andy. So the movie starts, Andy Samberg is trapped in this time loop, and it takes place at a wedding that he is invited to. He's one of the bridesmaids' boyfriends, so he kind of randomly ended up at this wedding. And then the movie starts when he's been in it for an unclear amount of time, a long time. And what kicks off the movie is that this guest at the wedding, I should have it pulled up, but the female lead who's in How I Met Your Mother and a whole bunch of other random stuff, who I always think is about to become really famous but never quite makes it, Kristen.
I get that.
Yeah.
I kind of get that analogy though. Like, she's just there. She's gonna break. She's gonna be household.
His name. It's Milioti.
Kristen Milioti.
Something like that.
Maybe. So she basically, it starts the first day that she gets pulled into the time loop, and so they're both in it together, reliving this day over and over. And I guess this is a genre of movie, but I love these sorts of movies because I feel like every one has a new twist on the theme. The only ones I can think of off the top of my head are Groundhog's Day and the Tom Cruise one where he's in the war with.
Oh, I love that movie.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, they changed the name of it. It was Live, Die, Repeat. Then it was Edge of Tomorrow. The book is awesome.
I just think there's so much you can do with the concept, and I don't want to give out too many spoilers, but I really like the twist of having two people in the time loop and what they choose to do with it, and especially all the things you can do if someone else is in the time loop for who knows how long prior to that. Like how much knowledge did they gain about the day? How much do they know about all the individual people before this other person joins them? I don't know. I found it fascinating. I really, really liked it. What do you think, Sauce?
I definitely thought it was more of like a kind of like a darker rom-com, I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was a rom-com, right?
It
Yeah,
was.
but it didn't lean into more. It was less calm and more dram.
Ooh.
It's a dram-com. That's what we call
Ooh.
it.
Shit.
A rom-dram actually would make more sense.
Rom-dram on the com-dram.
It kind of
There is
reminds
some
me of some of those other like rom-dram movies. Like there's a Aubrey Plaza one, something about saving the world or the end of the world, where like the dude travels back in time.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What's that movie called? I'm trying to find it, but it kind of reminds me of those types of movies.
Is it Daria?
It's probably she would be a good Daria. Is she gonna?
She was Daria.
What?
Aubrey Plaza?
Yeah, didn't they do like a TV show with her?
Oh, did they?
Not that I know of.
Pretty sure I didn't just make that up.
Are you sure you read it? Are you sure it was nothing? But yeah, no. So those aren't my favorite types of movies, but it was really well done, and I really liked the movie. Andy Samberg is good in it, and you could tell at the beginning of the movie he's definitely trying to be like a more serious. He's trying to do more serious acting, but so like the first half of the movie, third of the movie is kind of slow because Andy Samberg's hilarious, and they don't really take advantage of him until midway through the movie where he really shines. Because I mean, let's face it, we don't, at least right now, want to see him in serious drama roles. We want to see him being hilarious, right?
Yes.
But the other girl, so Kristen, is amazing the whole movie. She's fantastic. She totally nails it. Plus,
She's very charming.
J.K. Simmons is fantastic in everything he does, and he's in the movie as well. Those are like the three main characters. The movie's good. I watched with my wife. She really enjoyed it. The writing is really well done. It looks
the director
great.
is really new, like really new. I honestly have not heard of anything else he's ever done.
It's good. Off to a good start, then, I would say.
Yeah, that's it. That's his indie movie that's going to launch him to whatever he does next. Because I don't know who wrote it, if he wrote it too, but it was really well written. I enjoyed it. I would definitely check it out, but I wouldn't rush out to go see it. It depends.
I got a question. How dare you? That's all.
No.
What would you give it? What would you rate it?
Well, because here's why. Because I watched two movies this week to rate. I watched Palm Springs and I watched The Old Guard. And if you were going to ask me, what would you rather watch? This interesting action sci-fi movie or this interesting sci-fi rom-dram? I'm going to pick the action sci-fi movie over the rom-dram. So it's still really good, and you should definitely see it. And if you have Hulu, it's on there and it's free. And I didn't know Hulu was making their own movies, but yeah, I give it like a.
They're there now.
3 out of 5.
That's where they are.
3, 4. I'm going back and forth. I need to really watch it again to decide if it's a 3 or a 4. I mean, I'm never gonna watch it ever again, so that's what's leaning me towards 3. Like, I'm glad I watched it, but I'm never gonna watch it again.
Off the top of the dome, so you're trapped in an infinite time loop. Obviously, you're like, you wake up that first day and realize you're reliving it, and you're like, what jackpot? What would you do? What's the first thing you would learn how to do with your infinite time loop time? What do you think, Brad?
I see. This is similar to the superpower question because I know I'd just be some sort of villain. You know, I'd do bad things. I'd start by doing bad things. Like they talk about human experiments where anytime a human is given power, they abuse it. And like
Stanford experiments.
Totally. I would be that guy. I'd like to think I wouldn't exploit others. I would just try to do it as much on personal gain as possible. But I mean, I can't really tell you until I'm in the driver's seat, I guess.
No, this is cool. This is what we brought you in for. We were discussing that there wasn't enough villainy on the podcast.
And that's what I'm here to. I'm here to bring us down.
Yeah.
Wild card.
Mixing it up.
The Brad does bring up a good point, though, with the ramifications of there being no consequences for your action. There really is no good or evil. So, yeah, you could just kind of do whatever you want.
I was gonna say learn French, but no, I want to revise my answer.
Can I tell you that you don't need an infinite time loop to learn French?
Je parle un peu français.
I mean, that'd get you through my French lie detector.
Is the French lie detector is Brad's euphemism for his pants.
Listen, don't put me on blast like that.
I don't know. Same question, Sauce. Same answer. I can see this twinkle in your eyes, and I don't know if I should follow it up here.
Oh man, I mean, that just makes me think of if you could be Steven Tyler for one day and hook up with anybody, who would it be?
Oh, the chick from
one of the
Armageddon,
people
for
that
sure.
didn't have an STD.
Liv Tyler. No, if I got trapped in a time loop, I don't know. I'd sleep a lot. Be
Take
amazing.
a nice long nap.
Just relax.
That's the most dad answer you could give, though. Like,
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like, if I got caught in an infinite time loop right now, I'm gonna wake up in a house with my wife and kids every day. So I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna be able to do anything I want to do.
oh, you're supposed to say you'd be in a world full of bliss, love, and family.
You're already
yeah.
living the dream. Well, presumably you'd be in some like wacky situation that's outside of your norm because then somehow you get trapped in a time loop there.
I'd
So,
want to
like,
be I'd want to be trapped on like something really high adrenaline, so then I just have no joy of anything anymore. Like I'm caught in a time loop of like the first drop of a roller coaster for the rest of and then one day I just jump off and like nothing is exciting anymore.
All right.
That's just where I go with that.
So that actually kind of is relevant to not only Palm Springs, but it's also relevant to the Old Guard. Although if you haven't seen it, it's kind of a spoiler, so I won't say why. But before I get into the Old Guard, Tito, what are you going to rate Palm Springs?
Man, I personally, I was really excited to see this movie because I just like these kinds of movies. I like to see what they do with the concept. So like in my heart of hearts, it's a 5, but I think thinking more broadly for everybody, I would rate it a 4. I would say go see this movie. I really liked it.
Yeah, I was actually very satisfied with how they solved what they needed to do. I don't want to spoil it, but at the end, towards the end of the movie, they're trying to figure out how to, get out of their situation. I'm really happy with how they figured stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone, like the ending of all of these types of movies is you get out of the loop somehow, and I did like the way they handled it.
Did they handle the like time travel closures better than say Avengers Endgame?
No one has.
That was instantaneous. No.
I think though Endgame definitely is going to influence all time travel movies going forward, and they're going to adopt the quantum theory,
right?
I think so.
It made time travel sound the most scientific by putting the word quantum in front of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So the Old Guard, it's basically like the movie Extraction, but if they had Wolverine's healing factors. So it's a movie about a group of 4 people who can't die. They just regenerate, like they can heal themselves, or even if they like get killed, they'll just heal themselves back to life. And what they do with the combat skills they've learned over the years. So the main villain is Dudley from Harry Potter, which actually made me really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's very unfortunate looking now.
Those guys were probably. You don't get cast as Dudley in Harry Potter and expect to age well. You just take your earnings and be happy with it.
Have you seen the Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Yes.
So he's in that, and he looks worse than he did there.
Was he the guy with no arms and legs?
Yes.
Yes.
That
was a
him.
Weird story, man.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs is awesome, but so for the Old Guard, he's the villain. He's a CEO of a pharmaceutical corporation, and his goal is to like capture these people so he can study them and manufacture drugs off of their healing powers. But he's so one note and so unnecessarily over the top, and like just blatantly evil. Like there's no real character development to him at all, other than I don't care who I have to kill to make money. Is a terrible villain, but Charlize Theron is amazing in it. She has some really cool action fight scenes, very John Wick-esque, because she uses a battle axe and a gun, which is really cool.
That did something for Tito.
Yeah, that's
that should do something for everyone. And the other characters that are also soldiers are really, really interesting. I like what they did with their story. They're well done. There's a girl in it, a new girl. It happens in the first 10 minutes. I'm not going to spoil anything. But basically, she recently found out that she's want to become one of these immortal people, and she really doesn't do much. She's kind of the actress, kind of just like does an okay job. But I can't say his name. But
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's great in it. He's great in everything.
He's so good.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about his character because I can get into spoiler territory, but it's definitely enjoyable. It's based off a comic book, which I didn't know that for sure, but when I'm watching it, you can just tell like, oh, this is very comic booky. So I have not read the comic book. I know Tito's reading through it now, and it's very entertaining. It's worth watching. It's not great. I can see myself watching it again, but not for a long time. I would also give this a 3 out of 5.
Did you like this one? You liked this more than Palm Springs?
I like them the same. They both like scratched a different itch.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. Do they? I don't know if this is a spoiler, but do they tell you, or I guess, how do they become immortal? Is that a big spoiler?
They kind of show someone become. They don't really get into the details of how, but it's not important to the story.
Okay, gotcha.
They answer the why though.
Oh, why there are immortals?
Yes.
Or like what purpose they serve?
Yes.
Interesting. Are Charlize Theron and Chiwetel Ejiofor the two most recognizable people in it?
And Dudley.
I would just say I'd be most likely surprised from a solid performance in an action movie with Charlize Theron, because other than Mad Max, I think she had a slew of kind of very average to below average action movies. When you think of like Aeon Flux, and I'm trying to think what else she did. I was going to say the Snow White movies. I don't think she's very good in those.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was that one, Atomic Blonde. That was not great. So it's good to see her back doing good things.
Yeah, this is definitely better than all of those.
That's good.
Okay. Mad Max was great. She was awesome.
She was fantastic in Mad Max.
Not better than Mad Max. Mad Max is definitely the top of that list.
Yeah, the new Mad Max is amazing. Really, really good.
Really hope we see more from that Mad Max universe that they've created.
Yeah, but they're not bringing Charlize Theron back.
Are they bringing Tom Hardy back at least? I haven't even heard that.
I don't know, but I know she got pissed because they're not bringing her back. And she's a badass in this movie.
Cool.
There's some awesome action scenes.
I'll definitely check it out. This one is honestly at the top of my list. It's intriguing. It's a good premise.
Yeah, I had nothing to watch. I enjoyed it. But, I'm probably kind of forgettable, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
But
good to know.
Definitely worth your time. All right, so this week's topic, we're going to get into subreddits that are worth sinking your time into. So if you don't know what Reddit is, I'm terrible at explaining it. So I'll let you explain it, Tito.
Reddit advertises itself as the front page of the internet. Basically, so on the screen, there's a list of topics, and you can click on each one of them. And each one is posted. Each topic kind of belongs to what's called a subreddit. A subreddit is a broader topic run by a group of people. So, for example, there's a politics subreddit. There are moderators for each subreddit who post and moderate the subreddit, and then any individual person can post under a subreddit. So if something becomes really popular on the politics subreddit, it'll kind of automatically go up the main front page. And so the most popular things in the most popular subreddits are on the front page. Also, it's individualized, so you can choose which subreddits you subscribe to. So in addition to, say, like politics subreddit, or there's like a funny subreddit, I subscribe to multiple Overwatch subreddits. So in addition to, like, you know, COVID stories and like just whatever people find on the funny subreddit, I also get like best ways to max out your Genji damage or whatever, which I don't click on.
For all that Genji you've been playing?
I have been the top ranked Genji in our group recently.
That's true.
I recently, won a very dominating 1v1 versus someone who thinks they're really good at Genji. But
it's true. It's true.
It's true. I mean, it's not a brag. It's the truth. Anyway, so basically, it is kind of hard to explain. Yeah,
Right.
it's a bunch of topics. They get rated to the top by popularity, and then you can subscribe to things based on what your interests are. And so, like, each individual city has subreddits. You can look for things that really aren't that popular, but that you find interesting, and you can get up-to-date information on those. And so you can get lost in certain subreddits. And I'll throw it back to you, Sauce.
Do we think that Reddit's at the point where, like, if you aren't into or on Reddit, you probably never will be, though?
I try to introduce people to it every now and to some success every now and then. Like, once people realize how to use it, because it is complicated at first.
Sure.
But once they do, they love it and they get addicted to it because it's extremely addicting. Because they have a subreddit for whatever you're interested in. I love how, like, narrow it gets, like the field. So, like, if you're into cars, there's the car subreddit. But if you're into specific types of cars, there's the
or specific things you do with cars.
Yeah, exactly. There's a million subreddits about cars, the brand, or working on them, or souping them up, or, you know.
Can we all agree that idiots in cars is the best car subreddit, though? And just people who don't know how to drive, that's the best one.
Idiots in Cars is a fantastic subreddit that is definitely worth sinking your time into. What are some of your favorite subreddits, Brad?
I'm crazy when it comes to Reddit. I throw on RL and Sort by new, like a madman. I want to see what nobody else has even. I want to see what the moderators are still looking at before they get a chance to take stuff off.
That's insane.
So I think so too. It feeds into the insanity. But I mean, there are definitely some that I'm subscribed to. You know, anything that's in your personal interest. Lots of sports subreddits. To really, if you're into sports and following sports fans, Reddit is like a necessity at this point, because most sports reporters use Twitter to get their like leaks and information out there, and Reddit is just a place where that is all in one place, rather than having to follow hundreds of sports reporters. And it's just this great place to get your news conjoined, and then watching old clips and people debating topics. It's great if you're into fantasy sports. There's a great fantasy football subreddit. You can get links to Pro Football Focus, which is professional scouts who compile analytic data in order to make you a better fantasy football player. I mean, I've subscribed to stupid subreddits like just because Reddit should be. I don't know. I can't get into the politics subreddits because there's so many angry people in this world. I just want to look at cute dogs and cats sometimes. And that's one of the best parts of Reddit. People who share pictures of their dogs and cats, but without the like same vanity behind Instagram and Facebook. You know, like some of the vanity the focus is on the dogs and cats. And that's what I appreciate.
That's a good point. Subreddits, at least the ones that I subscribe to, and I think that we in general subscribe to, it's much less personal and like inward focused. It's more specifically about the pure content.
So I'm scrolling through some of my favorite subreddits right now. Watch people die inside.
Inside. I thought you were gonna end it dying, or like I hate death videos.
No, that is a thing if you're into that, but I'm not.
I cannot believe people just want to be like, oh, that guy's dead, yo.
Yeah. I would not recommend that one.
Yeah, I mean, eventually curiosity might get you, and you might scroll on it for every.
Sometimes you watch a little
once.
longer than you should.
But anyway, watch people die inside is a subreddit for people, reacting to something in a hilarious. Like, here's the top post on it right now: woman in the audience audibly dies inside after hearing Kanye's views on Harriet Tubman.
I did hear that one. Difficult to watch.
Yeah, so I like watch people die because it's usually pretty funny.
Inside.
Inside.
Yeah, we didn't keep that specification in there. You can get in some pretty messed up holes on Reddit too. Like, I remember I used to read a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot of great user created content in subreddits like No Sleep, where it's just like creepy stories people come up with, and then it's your choice whether to believe whether or not whatever they're writing about is real or not real. I mean, I'm going to tell you it's not real, but your choice. It's freedom.
Writing prompts. I used to watch. I used to read writing prompts a good amount. Shower thoughts is a classic one.
Shower thoughts is always good.
I recommend the SCP subreddit based on what I said either last episode or the episode before. If you want to read just about the SCP universe. So if you want to know what that is, just go listen to the last episode. But
at the top of shower thoughts right now, it says it takes 2 wipes to realize it only took 1 wipe.
There's some subreddits that are just like they're good times for them to be a part of, like the last season of Game of Thrones. Like, if you weren't a part of Free Folk, you were missing out on amazing things happening on the internet.
That's actually like a really, really good point. So like the Westworld subreddit is amazing while you're watching the episode, like while it's on TV, because everybody's getting together and like speculating on, why this person said this or this shot was framed this way. What does it mean for the story? And like, it's like putting all this info into a hive mind and having a giant supercomputer analyze everything so you can figure out stuff together. Same thing for the Watchmen subreddit when the Watchmen was on. So I definitely think being on the subreddit while you're actively watching the show, and it only works for shows that you're watching, once a week, not binging, but it's a really cool experience, and I definitely recommend that.
For sure. And on top of that, I always like to be subscribed to subreddits about like where I live. Like, we're in Toledo right now, so I'm subscribed to the Toledo subreddit. I mean, it's for smaller towns and places, it's smaller communities, but you hear a lot about what's going on around your town. It's a good way to find out a lot of stuff and connect with people in a different way than you can on Facebook and Instagram. Like I said, it just feels different. And then when I was in New York, being in the Brooklyn subreddit and getting a lot of like local targeted things about what's going on in your area, like I think that's a really good way to be connected to what's going on around you. So I always recommend doing that for wherever you live, because I guarantee you at this point, anywhere that's got a population has a subreddit that people are on for where they live.
That's a really, really good point. I'm actually gonna subscribe to my local subreddit right now. I did. I used to live in Dallas at the height of Pokemon Go, and I was subscribed to the Dallas subreddit and also specifically subscribed to the Dallas Pokemon Go subreddit, where it told you where all the shinies were, where you can get all the Charmanders.
You got to get all the Charmanders. Like, who just has one Charmander?
You have to get monsters. Only Charmanders.
Only Charmanders. You're never going to be Brock that way, bro.
The subreddit prequel memes is mandatory.
Yep, always good content for prequel memes. Some of their content posters just, I mean, if you're into memes, especially, some of their content producers are just A1 on top of their game. Like, these guys have to make a living out of what they do at this point because the content is so plentiful.
Yeah, and that also bleeds with the high quality GIFs subreddit.
Sure, and wholesome memes too. I like wholesome memes.
Oh, you're very positive today, Bradley.
Thanks. I earlier talked about becoming a villain if I was in a time loop or had superpowers.
Really redeeming.
There's two extremes. I might be bipolar.
I just got sucked into prequel memes. Sorry. What are we?
While filming content, this is why we shouldn't be on Reddit while talking about Reddit.
So, do you guys know who Gallowboob is?
I know the username. Yeah.
Okay, so Gallowboob is one of the top Reddit posters of all time. There's a very large percent chance that if you're looking at a post on Reddit and it's in the front page, that it was posted by him. Like, I think his job is just to post to Reddit and it gets upvoted. He even has his own subreddit, and it's all just like very high quality shit posts, just stupid stuff, but they're always really good or really funny. So look at the username next time you look at a post. It's probably coming from him.
I mean, if you're on one subreddit, you're probably going to see a lot of content posted by a lot of the same people. It's just how most of them tend to work. I feel like you get some first time posters, but not a lot. I mean, if Hummer were here with us, I think out of all of us, he's the only one that's ever made front page, right? On a post.
Yes, and there are secret subreddits that you're only invited to after you're
once you've
invited.
been on the front page.
Yeah, so he's part of it.
We're really missing out by not being able to talk to him about this today. We might have to revisit this topic when he is available.
He'll have to give us his expert opinion on the secret subreddits.
Well, he did tell us that the easiest subreddit to get on the front page was either Today I Learned or Movie Details, right? It was one or the other. He said that was the easiest one to get on the front page with.
Ooh, I don't remember.
Hot tip for all you Reddit posters out there.
I think it was probably Movie Details.
I think it was Movie Details because he did that one about the Titanic and the owners of Macy's.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, that's what it was.
You're doxing him.
Does that mean talking about how awesome he is behind his back?
He usually does now.
A win for my category. Chance for Faramir.
Oh, here's another great one. Public Freakout. That is a hot subreddit right now.
I mean, yeah, if you like Karen videos, then that's where to go, right?
Well, there's a specific "fuck you, Karen" subreddit that if that's what you're into.
I am into it.
That's my thing.
Any other subreddits for our fans out there?
You know, one I always like to get lost in is Next Fucking Level.
Ooh.
There are just something that when you start the video, you think it's just going to be some kind of normal thing and with an expectation, and there's always a twist to the level of coolness that you're about to witness, which is why it's Next Fucking Level.
Ooh, I don't have that one. I'm going to add it.
I've been furiously adding subreddits as we've been talking here.
Well, thanks for tuning in this week, folks. That's what we think. Some subreddits are worth sinking your time into. If you got any subreddits you want us to check out, hit us up on the social medias at TimeSyncPod. We're available on all your favorite podcast services. And then we'll see you guys next week.
Print, edit, fucking send it to the floor.